Earlier this week, I was talking to a real estate investor friend of mine, and he said one of the things he would like implemented into his business is an LOI generator so that he can send out more offers to agents and homeowners in a timely manner. So, what I created here was an LOI generator that allowed you to fill out the information of the property you wanted to make an offer on, and then click submit, and then it auto generates that offer in that LOI template. So, let me go ahead and click submit and show you how that looks. After you click submit on the form, it stores the information of the property and the owner slash agent in this Google Sheet with now our generated LOI link. And if I go ahead and click on this, we can see what that looks like. Here we have the LOI that was just generated, and this is a template, so you can make it prettier or less prettier, however you'd like. But this is what I've created, and here we have the letter of intent to purchase 1243 Main Street, which is what we inputted. And then down below we have the offer, which has the purchase price of 500,000, which we put in, and then it has the address here again, and then it also has a dear first name. So I'm going to show you right now how you too can build this, and it only takes a few minutes, and it's not hard to do and very easy to follow along. So let's get into it. The first tools we are going to need is a make.com account. It is a no-code automation tool. So it is going to allow us to build the automation for this particular use case. And we're also going to need a Google account. So if you have Gmail, then we can set up our Google Docs with our LOI template, and then we're also going to store it in a Google Sheet. Okay, so here is the LOI template that I've created. I went ahead and created this in Google Docs. You can too. You can make it as pretty as you want or however you want to dress it up. I added a background image of a property, and then I have white letters over it. And so you'll notice something right off the bat is that this template, where the variables go, they are in double brackets. So that is how we are going to tell Google Docs where we want to input our custom variables. So this is where the address would go, and then this is where the price would go. This is where the first name of the owner or agent would go, and then this is where we also have the address again. Once we have this template set up, we can then begin to build the automation. A few things to note. When we start to generate these LOIs, we need to store them somewhere. So we are going to create another folder in Google Drive. You can name it whatever you want. Just make sure that the folder is available for anyone to view. So you'll want to click share up in the right-hand corner for the folder, and you're going to want to click anyone with the link can view. And the reason for that is because when we send these out to the agents or owners, they need the permission to actually access them. So go ahead and create that folder to store the LOI docs in. And then we are also going to want to create one other thing. We're going to want to create a Google Sheet where we can then store all this information as well with the property info, the owner info, and then the LOI link. We're also going to be using one other software. We're going to use JotForm. So that is the form that we're going to input the information into, and then that will allow us to create the LOI. So let's head over to JotForm, and I'll show you what I've already built. JotForm is free, and as well as make.com, that also has a free tier. And then Google Sheets is free as well, or Google Drive, excuse me. So you can build all of this for free. That's what's really cool about this. So what I've built is I have already gone ahead and I've built a form, and you have all of the different input fields here that you can add in. I have the owner slash agent first and last name, their email, phone number, property address, and then our offer price. To begin the integration, we're going to want to go to Settings, and we're going to want to go down to Integrations, and we will search for Webhook. And this is where we are going to add in our webhook. A webhook is essentially just the URL that we are going to send this information to. How do we get that URL? We go back to make.com and we set up a webhook there. So here I am in my scenario in make.com, and I already have a webhook set up. How do you get these modules? Well, you can right click, add a module, and you can click on it and search for what software you want to use. In this case, we're going to be using webhook. And so we'll do a custom webhook, and then we're going to want to click add. We'll name it, and then it will generate that webhook for us. If you go into the webhook, once you generate it, you'll notice there is a URL right here. We can copy that to our clipboard. We can go back to JotForm, and then we can input that URL. So right here, you add in that URL and then you click complete integration. Once you have that integrated, you can then go ahead and publish your form and you can fill it out and then you can send that data to the webhook. Is you'll want to right click on the webhook. This is just for the beginning and click run this module only. Then the webhook will start to run and wait for data to be sent. Then go fill out the form. It will send that data from the form to the webhook and you'll get a little icon right here. And it will, when you click on that, it will show you the data that you received. So we got the data in a raw JSON request. Now, if you don't know what JSON is, don't worry about it. What we'll do is we'll take this raw request right here, we'll add another module called the parse JSON. So if you just right click, add a module, and you click search parse JSON, and you click that, we can then add in the JSON string we want to parse, which in this case is the raw request. So I'll delete that. I'll show you what that looks like when it runs. This is the output that we get. So we have the owner agent name right here, question 3, and then we have the phone number, email, and then the property address, and then the offer price. So this is what we're going to use this data to then add it into our custom fields in the LOI template. The next step is to add a Google Docs module. So once again, right click, add a new module, search for Google Docs. You're going to want to create your connection. So you'll click add and add a new connection there. It'll prompt you to sign in to your Google Docs via your Gmail that you have. And then you can go ahead and find your document by searching through, following the prompts here. So if I right click in here, it will then give us a list of documents. So I have LOI template, and then this is what's already stored in my drive. I've chosen that. Once you do that, all of the custom variables that we inputted, like address, price, first name, will pop up. So once again, when you're creating those custom variables, you want 2 brackets on either side of the custom variable. So for the address, we are going to use the data that we received and we parsed from the JSON, parse JSON module. And what we have here is we have the address right here. So that's Q5 property address. I've clicked that and it'll just add it into that input box there. And then price, because price is entered in as a number, I wanted to format it, make it a little prettier. So we use this function that's already built into Make, which is format number. So how it works is you follow the little detailed note right here. So it's format number. We take the number, then we put a semicolon, and then we put the number of decimal points that we want to have in the number, in this case 0, and then another semicolon, and then the decimal separator, which because we're in the US, we're going to use a period, and then another semicolon, and then the thousand separator, which is a comma, and then I put a $sign in front of that. So that will return to us a nice clean price. Then for first name, you go to the agent name, drop down, and you'll choose first. And then I also have the title for the LOI is LOI for dash property address, which I've chosen here. And then we can save this in the new drive location that we created. And you can find that location by just clicking through the plus sign and it'll take you through your Google Drive. I'll click OK. And what that does is this will now create a new Google Doc. But what we want to do is when we send this to an agent or owner, we want to make it a little prettier, a little cleaner. So we're going to send it as a PDF, not a Google Doc. So I next use this module. It's called an HTTP module, get a file. How I find it is add a module and go HTTP, get a file. We'll click that. It'll add that module right there. Inside the input box, we want to put the export links application PDF. So once the Google Doc is created, there is going to be a number of export links. In this case, we want the PDF export link. And so I will choose application-PDF, and that will put that in the URL input box there. This downloads the file, which we need to download it because we're going to re-upload it to Google Drive as a PDF. And something I mentioned earlier, the file that we're saving it to, so when we download this, it needs to be in a folder that can be viewed publicly. So anyone with the link can download it. That allows make.com to download the file. So once we get that data, then we're going to upload that to our Google Drive. So I've added it back into that same folder. I've named it the same name, LOI4-property address. And how we get that file data is we'll use file and we'll check this box right here, HTTP, get a file that's pulling the data from here. And then we can click OK. And then the last thing is to add it into our Google Sheets. So I've chosen Google Sheets, add a row, the add a row module. And I've inputted the address here, the owner agent name in the owner agent name column, as well as all the other information. Then we want to put the LOI link, which we'll choose the WebView link from the Google Drive module, and that will be our PDF link. So when we run it, we can then go ahead and have already generated the LOI along with the property information and the owner information. So let's go do it on a few properties and I'll show you how that looks. First things first is we need to actually find a property to create an offer on, and then we need to create an offer and figure out what that number will be. So the first thing we'll do is we'll head over to Zillow. I'll find a property that I want to make an offer on. Then I'm going to go to 1secondoffer.com, which is a tool that I use to then generate the offer that we want to send to the agent, and then we'll input it into our LOI generator. Okay, so I found a property I think that could be a good fix and flip. What I'm going to do now is take the address, go over to 1secondoffer to figure out the offer we want to make, and then we will generate that LOI. So I will copy this address, go over to app.1secondoffer.com, and then I'm going to input that data there. So this tool is really cool because I can input a Zillow link or a property address. It will give me back the ARV, the comps, and my max allowable offer, including contact information. So I'm going to go ahead and click Analyze. And down below, it begins to analyze it, and then we will get that max allowable offer that we want to make. Okay, the analysis is done. So if I go to the View Property button, we can take a look, just make sure everything looks okay. So the ARV is around this number, and then we have an estimated rehab cost. And then here is our max allowable offer. Let's just see. So we have some information on the property condition. We have information on the kitchen, exterior. Further, we have some comparables, and then we have our contact information for the agent. And let's take a look at our comparable. All right, I think I'm feeling good on this offer. So we're going to make an offer of, we'll do 105,000. So that'll be the offer that we make. And we have the contact information here. So let's head back over to our form to generate that LOI. Okay, so back in the form, I have everything filled out, the agent name, their phone number. They did not have an email associated with them. But we did have their phone number, we have their property address, and then the offer price we want to make, which is that 105. I'm going to go ahead and click submit and create that LOI. All right, so back in our Google Sheet, we now have created that LOI, and if I click on it, this is what it looks like. We have the letter of intent to purchase, the address, and then down below, Dear Ian, and then we have the address here, and then the purchase price of 105 right there. So now we can go ahead and we can text this to the agent and see where they are and whether or not they are interested in moving forward at this price into negotiations. So there you are. That is how you automate the generation of LOIs if you are a property investor. And you can use this if you're not a property investor. If you were creating proposals or something else along those lines, you can follow these same steps. And this is a really easy build, really simple to do, and it's really quick and very, very efficient. So there you have it. If you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, peace.